Hi guys, this session we'll be talking about verticals near the Balestier area. And as you can see in the picture over here, this is the facade of the building. Looks pretty decent. Then you got this one. Some people may think that maybe it's a shop, maybe it's a mall, but actually it's just a multi-story car park. And then you got the facility levels over here. I'm not going to be talking too much about the facilities and stuff lah, because that is the things that those are the kind of things that you go to a shop and then you find out. And then generally, I feel these are not the kind of things that will cause or rather impact whether property actually make money, like the finishings and facilities. Those are not as significant when it comes to determining whether your property is going to make money. So before we begin, as usual, this is a disclaimer. Whatever I share today is just based on my own point of view. My own research doesn't represent any other people's. So make sure you do your due diligence. Basic information about this project: verticals is over here, and then the land size is about 4,000 square meters, and you got 162 units. Average transactor is about 2,001 plus. You got a high at 2,003, you got a low at 1,007 for a larger unit. Generally, mostly owned by Singaporeans. And then, yeah, this is roughly the location, which is quite near to Balestier Plaza. And as usual, we go out to the 1 km radius. We look at the supply in the area for a consistent comparison, like what I did for other projects. And there you will see that this whole area of Toa Payoh, there is generally not no condos in this part of Toa Payoh other than this guy over here and this guy over here, only in the towers and also the Trellis Towers. And then, but you got a whole bunch of condos over here, and these are not just the only ones. So we'll zoom in. In fact, before I did this, I was thinking, actually no need to add up because why I look at this, I really want to. That was quite a bit of headache. But anyway, I sat down and then I still added them all together because I was still quite curious about how much were they actually. Maybe I was thinking, maybe who knows, I may be surprised right after there's one chunk over here. There is like no condos around the area. So anyway, I added up for you. So thankfully for you, you don't have to go and sit down and calculate for yourself. And guess what? I found everything added up. There's 7,000 plus units, which is incredibly high for an area. Then you got as a rough gauge, usually we use I think about 5,000, and then you know more or less the area is saturated with supply already. But this guy is not just 50, not just 5,000. There are 7,500 of them, which is like 50% over the usual limit that we usually look at. So I pulled a few projects that are similar in terms of the land size and in terms of number of units, and then I put these guys over here, and then I put this one is Wan Dusun. You got SkySuites, you got this one is Meridian, and then the last one is in the width. Okay, these guys are generally quite close when it comes to age, but not too fresh, because you want a little bit of runway to see how they perform over time. And then you see 2115, 14, 1416, and vertical is going to be done about 2 to 4 by right. Okay, whether they go faster is another issue, but you can see generally number of units are about the same. So we look at the past few days, we look at the past few years worth of data. You got SkySuites, which I think this is just a one-off transaction. But anyway, if it's really the case, then you got the movement pattern is here. I'm very, very sure none of us will want our investment to be heading in this direction. This is gonna be quite a traumatic effect. Most likely if you kena this kind, then it's very likely that you will be out this market very soon already, because you'll be thinking property doesn't make money anymore. So you just get out of this, which is not true. As long as you do due diligence and stop using your so-called common sense, your so-called common hearsays to kind of determine your property investment, I don't think that is going to affect your chances of having a profitable exit in the future. And anyway, let's back to this graph. You got Meridian. So Meridian is 2015, then you got the two guys in between 2014, and then Wan Dusun is 2016. So this guy 2016, 14, 14, and then 2015. Okay, Viridian went sideways, Interweave went up, then it came down. You got Sky Suites, we already mentioned, and then also Interweave. No, Interweave we mentioned already, and One Too Soon. Generally, you can see these four guys didn't really do well. None of them had a very significant movement. It's like this, a healthy. It's typical of a healthy, very profitable condo, like some of which we've seen, we know already. And then we want to follow generally those kind of characteristics in order to play safe and make sure our chances of having a profitable exit is maximized. But you can see these four guys are not doing well. And then on the other hand, if Verticus has been launched at below their price, maybe there could have been a chance. But guess what? This guy is launched way before, way above them, at least about 400 PSF or 400 PSF worth of gap. And when that happens, then basically the larger the gap, the more risk lah. Because in the first place, Verticus have a very similar characteristics to them. So and then the best part is all of them are freehold. So that means you can see this is a very good comparison of likely the potential price performance of Verticus. And hence, does this show that Verticus is a good investment for you to put your money in? I think it's very obvious that it doesn't seem to be very safe in this sense, because the past few predecessors with the same few characteristics didn't really exactly do well. Then you put out another one just directly opposite Verticus, VA, slightly smaller land. Then you can see the pattern is almost the same, if not worse. But I like to use this example because 2016, and then a lot of the owners who exited, they actually bought after 2013. And then the reason why I didn't show you some of the numbers, whether they make money, that kind of thing, for these four guys, because a lot of them bought before 2013. And basically, we all know that if you buy before 2013, chances of you making money is very, very, very high. So it's not an accurate gauge of what you're going to see in today's market. And hence, I didn't pull out their data. But on the other hand, I pull out this data because I find that they bought after 2013. A lot of them bought after 2013. And look at the nature of the transactions. You got only one that is slightly profitable, and if you take a look, you account how many years of ownership, 4 years of ownership, and then you got buy stamp duty, you got your blah blah blah, all the causes even there, selling fee, selling agent fee, then this guy definitely is not in the grid at all, confirm. And then you got these whole bunch of guys who totally did not make profit at all. Highest loss, I would say, $115,000. So we can see it's quite bearish in this area lah when it comes to making money. So this is not a place that I would say upfront that I'm not gonna be putting my own money here in. And if you want to consider this and put your money 1 mil plus 2 mil, whichever it is, put it here, then I would say you may want to think again. You may want to reconsider. These are the few remaining units that you'll be looking at. The prices are around 2002 for 3 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 2+1 dual key. So obviously this area is more of a tenant kind of profile. And then back to this chart again. Why? Because if we use this entry price, this will be about 2002 entry, 2002 plus. That means you're going to be entering here, which is above even the Verticus average. And when that happens, you basically widen and enlarge your risk compared to your competitors. And if you really want to buy this place for investment, you want to rent it out, then it doesn't really make sense for you to be entering here for this particular development, because you could have entered the rest at a much lower price and possibly much higher ROI, or rather higher gross rental yield in the first place. So you can see if you enter at this price, you're going to have a 500 PSF gap compared to your nearest competitor. Whereas if you enter at normal, the rest of the other neighbors, they already 400 PSF gap, which is quite unsafe, given that there is no significant advantage for Verticus compared to its competitors. But this one, if you enter here with whatever remaining units you're still considering, then unfortunately this is going to be an even bigger risk margin for you. This is what I feel. when we look at we take a look at how the rental performance is like for this area. You got Nim Tree a little bit just behind, a newer, also quite new. This one has been doing a little bit better. The 2 bedrooms are renting out about 3,000, 3,000 plus, and then some are 2,000, 2,006, and then 3,002. So I pull it out, maybe average about 3,003, 3,004. But we know that new condos generally tend to command a higher rental. So maybe I will just take 3,005. 3,005, and then I take it at the entry price, which is 1.53. For this guy over here, 1.53, assuming you can rent it out at 3,005, and then they will give you a gross rental of 2,002.7. Okay, given that it's freehold, so it is only expected that the period, the return on investment is not as high. But the thing is, it doesn't really matter where your interest, your not interest, my bad, your rental yield is not as high as 3 point something percent, because ultimately, as long as you're not like in the low two, and then your maybe some of your friends who bought into a leasehold for investment, their rental yield is about 3 point something, slightly over 3, then it's not much of a difference, honestly. The difference more or less lies actually in the capital appreciation, which is only actually always the more important part. Because remember, your rental income, you got a lot of causes in the first place. You got a lot of trouble trying to stay afloat, and then you also have income tax. Of course, how much income tax really depends on how much money you're making in the first place, lah. But whereas capital gains, for now, it's not taxable. It's much more convenient. And if you buy into the right development, if you know how to spot the right development with the typical characteristics that makes it profitable, then you probably wouldn't have to worry about this guy over here, which is the gross rental yield. In fact, we have seen quite some condos with low rental yield, but they make very high capital gains. And overall, they make much more than those people with much higher capital gains. I think for sure, that one is definitely for sure. They make much more overall profits than those with the supposedly 4 point something. In today's market, because rental is higher, we are seeing high 4+% gross rental yield. We're not even talking about ROI. But do they actually mean that are they ultimately very good investment vehicles? If you look in the numbers, actually I would say no. Okay, but we're not going to be touching on that today. And then the other one, VA Residences, we just show you. This guy is not doing as well. A 2,000, you got low 2,000, you got only 2,008. So average out maybe about 2,004, 2,005. I add a little bit more because it's a new factor. That will give us 2.19. I think this is pretty terrible in my point of view. 2.19%. So generally, it seems that in this place, if you really want to buy to slowly play the long-term game, you want to farm, let the tenant pay out the 30-year or 25-year or whichever number of years rental for you, then you can consider. But if you are looking for capital appreciation, by the way, I'm not going to be even showing you the master plan. Why? Because nothing much interesting. There will be people telling you, about the Novena medical hub, that kind of thing. And transformation, yes, it does impact, but only if you do not have too much supply in the area. Because now in this place, you got this whole piece, all these group of guys just within a 1 km radius. We are not even talking about the Newton area. All these guys are fighting to get the increased demand. So even if you do have transformation, yes, your demand is going to increase, yes, but then is your supply more than capable to absorb the increased demand? I think definitely yes also. Because if you take a look at Property Guru today, if I go out to 1 km radius around the Verticals area, I'm looking at 154 just within the 1 km radius. 154 up for rent. You realize that when I want to rent a place here, the agents reply very fast. They see me sweet because they are dying for the business, because they are dying to even get a unit out in the first place, because it's not easy to get a unit out in this area. But on the other hand, you got this place which is very how to say, a very profitable overall in terms of capital appreciation, but there are very, very limited places for rent. in fact 12. I didn't even filter like a really just pure condo. I just, even you see this guy a cluster is a cluster house, but including all these, there's only 12, and compared to this guy there's 154. But this guy, you can see that over here within 1K radius, there's nothing much to be rented out. So whether rental yield is high or not, that I'm not really concerned. But what I know is that this area, the condo here, recently has made quite a lot of money, or in fact, a very healthy 6 figure. Okay, that is some of the ways that we can gauge the demand and supply of the area. So verdict, for breakers, if you want to buy, I think it's a pretty easy entry, because location is good. Honestly, Balestier location is quite good, but maybe the, what do you call it? The stigma of the place is not so nice. But at the end of the day, next time when you want to sell, who are you going to be selling to? And with these buyers, will you have the kind of monopoly effect when the buyers, they come in, are they just gonna suck down, gonna pay a higher price for your unit, or can they go elsewhere in the region for them to get a better deal? I think it is more like the latter, right? And then rental yield, like what I mentioned, I'm not too concerned. This one is more of a rental kind of rental pool kind of area lah, tenant pool kind of area. So will rental be very difficult? I don't think so, as long as you're quite realistic about your rental rate. If you are going for those kind of record sky high rental, then I would say good luck to you, because in the first place there's a lot of supply fighting with you for your business. So like what I mentioned, master plan, nothing much to even bring up, so that I didn't even show you. I didn't even bother to go and screenshot and show you much that is happening, because I really don't think those are going to be affecting much given the huge amount of supply in the area. Okay, so and hence my verdict, as usual, is that this place is not really an ideal form of capital gain investment. But like I said, if you want a slow long-term rental gains, rental income here and there, the tenant help you to offset your monthly installment, then yes, you can consider. Because after all, these guys are freehold. But ultimately also, if the place is not maintained well by the MCST, and then you may be in for a roller coaster ride. Okay, yep, that will be what I have for Verticals. And any other projects that you may be interested in, you may want to you may need to have a little bit of help to help analyze, then you can just drop me a text and I see how I can help out. Okay, yep, that'll be all for today. See you guys. Bye bye.